But let me get back to the issue. Afghanistan came under the rule of the Taliban, and they were faced with a challenge. What are they going to do with the drug industry which they found in Afghanistan? The Taliban made a decision. From a point of honor, from a point of morality, a point of dignity and decency, from a point of Sharia, they could not support and allow drug trafficking to exist in Afghanistan. So what did they do? They began to punish those who held drugs, those who sold drugs, and they began to imprison those that used drugs. Then they gave an option to the farmers who were the growers of poppies in Afghanistan, the major crops for drugs, isn't it? They told them, we will give you the land where you are growing the poppies. You take the land, but you must grow another crop. You must grow a different crop. But if you don't grow another crop, then we will bury you on that land. That's the only option they gave them. In a year and a half after the fatwa came about this issue, a year and a half, the drug trafficking and the growing of drugs and the manufacturing of drugs in Afghanistan was 3%. How did an unsophisticated group of students, without government, without sophisticated institutions, how did they do this? How did they eliminate an industry which represented 61% of the source of drugs in the entire world? How did they do that? They did it from their iman. They did it because they were affected by the Quran. They did it because they were affected by the behavior of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And this is why I say, as an example, that Islam, and only Islam, has the properties by which to affect the human being's consciousness, to design and regulate his morals, and even to regulate governments, so that even governments themselves are forced to adhere to rules of decency and dignity.